Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks on January 15th. I'm Chris Accords.
And I'm Heathrock.
January 15th, 2022. I actually should clarify that. How was your holiday, Heathrock?
Yeah, it was uneventful.
Okay, fair enough.
I haven't been doing much, and not much has happened.
Sure. You're like the Russian Christmas is over by now, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it's on January 8th, but we actually celebrate New Year, and then we have a week of holidays, and that week is over.
Awesome. Yeah, mine was, I guess, I mean, I did get the chance to go home for a little bit to see the rest of my family, so that was nice. Um, but yeah, otherwise, I actually was working for a lot of it, so it was fine. And it was really cold here too, which is not that great.
Sounds great.
Well, yeah. But regardless, we both got a lot of time off after the after the set review. Um, and so now we can come back and have a look at some tournament results, I guess.
Yeah, because we actually had a tournament in this time.
Mm-hmm. The traditional start of the season has always been Vancouver. It's been Harmony for the last little while. This year it was Adventure. Have you gotten a chance to look at the results yet, Hazelrock?
I've looked at a couple of decks, but I haven't looked at all of them.
Okay. I of course played in the event, so I know 4 of them, and I haven't looked in too much detail at the others. But there were 9 participants. We played 4 rounds. We had enough time to play 5, but people were a little tired after 4, and we had a proper ordering at least for first place, so people didn't mind that much. And yeah, I guess we have time to look at them all, I guess.
Yeah,
So shall we?
sure.
Okay. So we start with Instagram with Thorax Orange. Now he was my first round opponent, actually. Um, which that was his. Well, that was my one win for the day. Right. Yeah. A little unfortunate. I managed to get a troublemaker out onto his problem turn 1, and so I managed to stop Thorax from flipping the whole game.
Ooh, that sounds painful.
It was, yeah. But otherwise, I've noticed both in core and in adventure that Thorax Orange is a very sort of natural deck to build. Uh, you just kind of put in adventure it's a lot harder because there are a lot more good cards to consider. But in general, treading water and then just stuff that has printed power to 2 or less, and most of the way there just off of that.
Yeah, and Orange has quite a fair amount of good friends at low cost. Oh, I mean low power.
Mm-hmm. Number of them are low printed power, like Rockoff and Big Mac, but will get bigger than that, especially in a deck with Thorax.
Yeah.
The choice, the Flutterbat here is the really interesting inclusion. Well, let's see. How many transform targets do you have? You've got Conflict Resolver, really good because you only cost 1.
Training
Uh,
water.
Treading Water, yes. Bad Hair Day, actually, is going to be free most often when you put it into play. And I suppose you could transform Kind as Can Be. That's a little bit less so, probably. So yeah, most often you're going to be looking at a pretty cheap transform. And she's also a card that grows pretty well. I don't want to say pretty quickly per se. Whenever she's in a face-off.
But that's the idea. She starts with two, but usually she'll have more than two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, there's a fair amount of anti-troublemaker in here. Looking at it, right between Applejack and Apple Bloom, Butterbat, Chua. I mean, she's a little bit less strong anti-troublemaker, but still. Conflict Resolver. Well, if you're up in terms of power before the face-off starts.
Yeah, perhaps a couple of dilemmas would help here, right? Like Industrial Revolution is really good with Thorax, I think.
Mm-hmm. Any of
And
yeah,
yeah.
any of the dilemmas that put tokens into play, but in Industrial definitely. And well, yeah, you've got Day Shift. Dilemmas are great, obviously, as well.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first adventure tournament where Day Shift was, well, legal again, I guess. But
Still
surprisingly,
stand by my statement that it's a mistake.
I could be still. There is. I actually see a whole lot of yellow in the tournament in general. I guess Animoy's playing Fluttershy White. Actually, besides that, that's it, I think. Well, me. But I don't play Day Shift.
How could you?
It actually, I think the original Strawberry list did have Day Shift in it. But I don't know. The deck that I built just didn't have room for it.
Fair enough.
But yeah. I say solid. Perhaps a couple of interesting choices in here, but overall, Thorax Orange is a strong natural archetype with a lot of good cards for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's the friendship summons in here too. I remember he played that against me as well. I'm trying to remember. I think he used it to search for Fluttershy. The Unity 15 one.
Oh, specifically for that one? Because there's like a lot of Fluttershy in this
And
deck.
it's true. Actually, yeah, searching for Treading Water is a pretty good play as well. Um, Actually, yeah, there are a lot of good targets.
You can also search for Applejack and Apple Bloom. That works too.
Hmm. Counting the resource removal here quickly. One.
I mean, there's Big Mac and Lemon Hearts and
Oh yeah,
Beavers.
Lemon Hearts as
That sounds
well.
like a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean that's yellow in an adventure because Lemon Hearts is such a good card. Would run like up to 10 resource removal easily.
Yeah, I think Beavers is also a really good card. It's an immediate resource removal.
Hmm.
I mean, Lemon Hearts also is, but she's proactive and Beavers are not.
Hmm. Okay. Next up.
Sure.
Alrighty. Now Woodgazer
Now
here.
that's a name I haven't seen in a long time.
It's true. It's true. Been a long time since Woodgazer's been in a tournament. Also, this is a main that neither of us expected to ever see in constructed play.
Yeah, what did you say about like one? Well, to be fair, we rated core, so this doesn't count, right?
I suppose it doesn't. Technically, we're not wrong yet.
So we're
Um,
technically correct still.
Still, yes. I suppose Woodgazer is really interested in having a main that is a griffin. That is, I guess. Let me see here. So
So
blue
that's
is
easy to flip, maybe.
it must be, yeah, because blue is the primary color. Gallus is a griffin, but
Yeah.
yes, he does not want to. Well, yeah, he wants to run train traditions rather than uh, a problem that's easy to confront. So I suppose that makes sense. The number of
Yeah, I
griffin,
guess.
sorry, yeah, and the number of griffins matters pretty much just for Griselda, but that's a pretty big thing for it to matter.
I
And
think I would still try Gallus in this deck.
there are a good number of stuff that can be done at immediate speed.
Yeah, so you have what you have Plushy Dash, you have Griselda, you have Gallus and Silverstream, you have Stop Fighting, Beat the Rush. That's like half of the deck is immediate cards.
Angel, Gallus and Silver Screen. Actually, yeah, it's a fair point now that you think about it. Right, but the only the only thing is that requirement to be able to flip him. Uh,
Yeah, you need to confront the problem. That's but, mm,
yeah, with Starlight being only 2 to flip, you get to take advantage of train traditions while on turn 2, right? And be able
yeah,
to open.
it's like playing Tempest, but another color in the Griffin.
Yeah, basically. Well, yeah, it's like playing any which
Yeah.
I guess that begs the question of why don't you play Seleno then?
Well, she's not a Griffin,
Right.
which
But
I mean, there aren't that many things that count your main for a Griffin, right?
right. As I said, in this deck, it's just Griselda that cares about that.
Yeah.
Or well, anything to care about when you move a Griffin character, or
Nope. All of these things are like enters play stuff.
right.
Hmm.
It's yeah. There is value in choosing to have a main that is a Griffin rather than Seleno. Uh, so no, I'm not going to say right away that what Giz is wrong. Clearly, I mean we're both trying to justify this main's totally unplayable. Why would anyone use it? Um, this is the one edge case where, sure, fair enough.
Yeah, like for treble decks, she might be good enough, especially in adventure because you have trading traditions.
An adventure because of train traditions.
Yeah,
That's
like that's the only reason.
train traditions. Been defining that format? Well, yeah, ever since it existed. And it's not going anywhere. Otherwise, not the only blue-pink deck that we're going to see, although this is the only Griffin one, I think. I have to look at Gilda again, because I've already forgotten what this card does.
Oh, see, Gilda moves a Griffin character,
Ah, okay, there we go. Fair enough. Yes.
so you can move your main for free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That works. Right. Yeah, this is, I guess you'd call this mid-range probably more than, I mean, it's pretty aggressive.
I'm. I think I would call this just an aggro deck.
Right.
I don't think it's mid range. It's definitely faster than other stuff out there.
Right. In adventure, my mind always compares it to Hot Wings, and well, it's not Hot Wings, but yeah, it's got a lot of the same stuff to it.
Yeah.
Plenty of free moves. Crown of Grover is really great once you can get into play. And then you have any number of move triggers or yeah, it just really is a great card.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the free move with Golden Horseshoe in this deck too. So seems good.
Yeah, and look at all of those bonus 2 problems, except one. But Daring Escape is really good.
Daring Escape is very good, yes. You'll be easy to get whatever the bonus is on the other side. It does make
Yeah.
it a lot easier to yeah, easier to confront both. I'm actually looking here. Aside from train traditions, your only path to pink is just Giorno, right? You are a
Yeah,
little reliant on being able to establish that pink.
it's fine. I tell you, as a person who runs 2 entry cards in a 3-color deck,
Hmm.
just because my starter is a Tempest with trading traditions.
Yeah, that's true.
Here you have a 2-color deck. You'll probably play some pink cards, and if some board white happens or something, you probably already have your Giorno at that point.
Fair enough.
So
Uh,
it's fine.
yeah, Fan Man. Yeah, this deck's built more for speed. I think we covered more of an aggro deck than a
Yeah,
mid-range deck.
and
Sorry, go ahead.
I think Gallus and Silverstream is what kind of points there as well. Even even the defensive stuff, like removing things and stuff like that, it still uses it for aggro with Gallus and Silverstream.
That's a good point. That card really makes the blue-pink decks all the sort of little interference cards that they necessarily run. Also, oh yeah, here's Zero Cost Hasty Friend, which blue pink always loves, especially because it's a Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Could you combine the two? I mean, into a blue pink. Okay. So Bugle has his Gallus Pink control in core, which is a control list, certainly. Though it's a surprisingly fast control list. I don't know if you've had the chance to see that.
Nope.
You should watch that actually. It was his second fast clip gauntlet. It's a eye-opening look.
Sure, Bugle's decks usually are.
Fair enough. Yeah. Um, if you wanted something that was a little bit faster than that, I mean, I can imagine a version of this. Like, you want to put in Wrath of Gilda if you're going at all mid-rangey, because that's your answer to proper aggro lists. And then Grogar's Lair, and yeah, blue has some tools if you want to tone down the deck just a little bit in terms of its speed, and maybe go for more interference.
Yeah.
But these two colors, I think, always going to be able to deliver lots of value very suddenly to a problem. It's just kind of what they do.
Yeah, it's hard to think of any slow pink blue cards, but it's really easy to think of very fast ones.
Mhm. Okay, moving on.
Sure.
Okay,
Ah, it's you.
it is me.
Where are all the Celestes? I don't see a single one.
It's true. It's true. I went with a different main this time. Luna main instead. She seemed like a reasonable choice. Frankly, I think in retrospect, the answer she wasn't a good choice. If you look at the list, you'll see there's actually a lot of 4 flips, and 4 flips are awful in a unilist.
Yeah.
Like yeah, there were plenty of times I was going into a face-off like with a pinky sense out, and it's just like the opponent kind of looks at not we were playing online, but there's kind of that expectant pause, and no, I'm not going to use pinky sense. My hand is full of 4s, and they're really awful to flip.
Ah, this is a strawberry list.
Yes,
The comeback.
it was an attempted comeback. Yes. Yeah, for those who've never seen this before or aren't familiar with the original list, the idea here is to use Strawberry Sunrise, the yellow pink agile friend who, when you move, you get to turn Troublemaker face down. With Troublemakers that have strong uncover abilities, and then you turn them over right at the start of your Troublemaker phase so that they flip back up right away, and you either get an extra life in the case of Smooths, or you send all the stuff away in the case of Chrysalis, or you do a villain thing. And yeah, you do control with that. And it kind of worked, as it kind of always has.
Uh, One troublemaker that I would really like to see here, but I don't, is Changeling Barricade. Why not that one?
What does that one do again?
That one puts a token copy of itself on every problem, which means no dilemmas.
Ooh. Well, wait a second.
Okay, its text is when this card is uncovered, put a token copy of this card into play face up at each problem, at each other problem.
Right. So like the problem is that I can't turn Troublemakers face up at immediate speed. I can only turn them face down at immediate speed.
Oh, that's what Strawberry does.
Yes.
Ugh. Wasn't there a pink card that uncovers troublemakers at immediate speed?
Ooh. I think there was actually. Give me a second.
Wasn't it in Fond Memories?
It might have been.
I
Now
have a
you're
memory of it from the review.
now you're giving me some ideas here. Was it sudden fruition? Yes. Now that card is for pink rec, so it requires a little bit not so good with the yellow main.
Hmm. Well, perhaps this deck should be pink.
Well, see, the thing about running a yellow main is that uh, the the opponent doesn't know how to sideboard. They think you're
Hmm.
playing aggro, and like that. Instagram actually told me after the game that that's what happened. He boarded out his control cards, his anti-control cards, because he didn't think I was playing control.
Okay, but hear this. Run Starlight, and then nobody has any idea what you're doing.
Well, what I actually wanted to do, what I think I'm going to do at the next adventure tournament, is I'm going to run Nurturing Nature,
Oh,
and then yeah, is it yellow blue Pegasi or is it strawberry? No one knows.
tricky.
hmm And for what it's worth, like in that, uh, to some extent, perhaps because of the way the deck's built, like in that game versus Instagram, I actually never flipped Luna, because I just always flipped higher than 4s, like higher than 3s for the whole game. And it worked. The deck has enough entry to sort of get going, even if you don't flip your main over. But yeah, it was broadly broadly an okay tournament, I would say. It was very much the quintessential Johnny tournament, right? Played 4 games, won one of them, but the deck did what it was supposed to do in that one win, so I'm happy.
Yeah, that's like the definition of Johnny.
Hmm. Also, I'll say the deck against Animoy, whose deck the game against Animoy, whose deck is coming up next. He was playing bedtime, and both of us were running Sanctuary Scuffle, and so like we both ended up Sanctuary Scuffling each other to banish like the other guy's whole board on a few
Ouch.
occasions. That was pretty fun.
Well, that's time with Sanctuary Scuffle. I didn't think of that. That's really good.
Hmm.
I always wanted Bedtime to be a good card.
Yeah, absolutely right. Just yellow white never had quite the right, well, composition of cards for it, especially
Yeah,
now that
well,
they're aggro colors.
the problem with it was that you can't really build a deck around a single card that is also a resource, right?
Hmm.
Because once they remove it, that's it. Your deck does nothing. Like, it still can do things, but not like going from bounce to banish is quite a big leap
Yeah.
in the power level. So without bedtime, all your bounces are now kind of whatever. That was the problem with bedtime decks, I think.
Was there ever? Oh, that's right. Yeah. Pancake brings up in the chat. There was a bedtime deck that got top 8. I think it was at a Continentals a while back. It was one of the BronyCons, I think, but I don't remember which year. Anyway, like yeah, it's always there in adventure. Well, I guess yeah, in adventure, always something to consider. Um, oh right, that was the year that it randomly beat Reanimator. It was the one that kept Max out of top 8. Yes, I remember that.
I remember something like that too.
Anyway, yeah, this deck was super fun. It remains super fun. I'm gonna keep playing it. I know nobody else is. Um, maybe with a different main.
Pink main and the pink deck.
Pink main with a pink deck, maybe. Fair enough. It is fair to admit that the pink base of this deck has always been somewhat stronger than the yellow base because yellow has no good control cards. That's fair enough, right? Except
Yeah,
except for Sanctuary Scuffle and Spooky Ruins, I suppose. Okay. Next up.
sure.
Next up is Animoy. Yes, I knew he was coming next because me and him we drew on the last round of the tournament. That was our draw because every tournament has to have a tie in it, at least one.
Yeah.
So yeah, as mentioned, this is yellow white, bedtime, diurnal amulet, sanctuary scuffle. Otherwise, it's got kind of the basic nurturing nature package of nurturing nature, Carolot Citizens, and the new Yona. So the power from home package, which works very well with diurnal amulet for what it's worth. What else to note?
Interesting that there isn't that much of white. So is white here pretty much for bedtime?
I mean, I guess
And I
so.
mean, there's sea poppy as well, but
I mean, Puppy's not bad. That's gonna
oh,
resurrect a
yeah, sea poppy is really good.
yeah. This is more of a mid-range deck, I guess. Now that I'm looking at it, because you've got a pretty strong point scoring core in your main and your bunyips and all that. And then, yeah, you just augment yellow's removal with bedtime to be able to deal with decks that are faster than you because of Sanctuary Scuffle. And you also have Fit of Peak as a chance against Reanimator also. Well, Fit of Peak and Unsatisfactory Work and Yona, actually. You've got actually pretty good options against Reanimator.
Yeah. I mean, I think yellow was usually one of the best colors to answer it anyway, because of Yona.
Mm-hmm.
And bounces are even just like regular bounces are pretty annoying for a reanimator.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes more annoying than dismisses.
Well, definitely more annoying than Dismisses. Sometimes more annoying than Banish, even. Well, I guess by definition, nothing's better than Banish, right?
Yeah. Well, unless it's Grogger. There are exceptions to every rule.
Yeah, I guess so. Fair enough. Yes, Fanman. Actually, there absolutely is still online events.
In fact, this was an online event.
Indeed, the one we're talking about right here was just conducted last week. In lieu of what would have been an in-person event at Ben Hoover Pony Expo, if not for circumstances. But yeah, I expect whether it needs to be online or in person over the course of this year, there absolutely will still be events getting played, I guess.
Yep. And there's also, I think, like core constructors. That's still a thing. They just don't get enough people as like
Yeah, well,
by the deadline usually, but eventually they do and they get launched.
yeah, it is. It is the off season still. So
Yeah.
might pick up somewhat into February and March.
Mm-hmm.
As to the software for you, it's pretty much all TTS these days, right?
Yeah, so for software, it usually was Octagon versus TTS, and Octagon doesn't actually run on a Mac. Well, I've heard reports that you could run it on a Mac through Wine, but it's a hassle. So if you're on a Mac, TTS is pretty much your only option. And Octagon is not really supporting the game anymore because one of the guys who was making the mod for Octagon, I think they're away, or like we tried contacting them to
Mm-hmm.
update the mod, but they haven't updated it yet. So TTS right now, like people slowly kind of moved towards TTS because it supported this new set from the like day two, I think, or day one.
I believe we have you to thank for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, now TTS isn't free, uh, but it is affordable.
Yeah, it's like I think it's $10 baseline or 20 maybe, and it often goes on 50% sale.
Mm-hmm. But they might. Well, the winter sale's probably done by now. But
Yeah, but like it goes on sale pretty often outside of like winter and summer sales.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, hope that you're able to get on and join us. Yeah. Do we have the Discord link around anywhere?
Yeah, one sec. You can.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hithrock will drop the Discord link in the chat for people, just in case you're not there yet. And there we go. Thank you. Um, hop on there. That's so far as I'm aware, that's basically where the vast majority of the other community is these days,
Yeah.
and they'll be able to help you get set up and be able to play. And we'll appreciate having you. Okay. Was there anything else about Animoy deck we wanted to talk about?
I want more yellow white.
Don't we all?
That's one thing that I really liked about yellow white is that you can really go both ways with it, both aggro and control.
Hmm.
Like bat time and bounces and all the things lets you build like full control if you really want to, and you can also go full aggro with things like Kratos.
Yep. Or all the various changeling synergies these days. These days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have anything else to say. Oh,
Yeah, we can go to the next list.
okay. Uh, right. Oh, Bugle's next. So, Bugle has well, yeah, he stated it in several locations that this was a interesting little spur of the moment deck. Uh, this is Unicorn Synergy in orange and white, which is not the normal colors you would expect to find a unicorn deck, but it turns out there are a lot of orange-white unicorns.
Huh. So what's
Fact.
the synergy here, other
Uh,
than Sweetie Belle?
well, Sweetie Belle is good on its own. Let me see here. He has a lot of. I remember he said during the event he has a lot of like ways to get Firelight into the discard pile and actually be able to play it for free off discounts. Like if he takes it off the top of the deck with Tempest Shadow, for example, or if he discards it off of Apple Bloom. Um, well, I think those were the two main ones. Uh, but I mean, it's a pretty good play when that happens.
Hmm.
I guess in terms of quote unquote unicorn synergy, maybe sure it is only Sweetie Belle, but he's got a lot of events, and his deck is almost all unicorns.
Yeah, I mean it is. What, all of them are unicorns except Apple Bloom and Big Mac?
Yep. And he does have the with transitions and Grogar as his main. He has the opening rarity and Trenderhoof as well as a possible play, uh, which is pretty good on turn one. It's a lot like Yellow Parasprite opener, except it's a 3 power 2 cost friend.
Yeah.
Which in some matchups that's what you want.
Makes me wonder if that was the beginning of the deck. Like, oh, what if we play Rarity and Trenderhoof turn one? And then the whole white and orange deck, like, kind of built around that. Like, not around it, but that's how the deck began, so to say.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, he's made no mystery of the fact that he thinks Tempest is an amazing card. Which I mean, it's not just he thinks it. I mean, it is. Um,
Yeah.
and I was gonna say Orange has been getting a lot of good stuff lately. Frankly, most of these friends are actually fairly old. Only new cards in here are actually Tempest, Rarity, and Trenderhoof, and Fit of Peak. And I guess we have Unsparkling Cider as a problem as well. Oh, and Method Overacting. Okay, so the problem deck's fairly revamped. An interesting problem deck too, actually, with I mean with Family Feud in there.
I mean, Family Feud is just a really, really good orange problem.
It is.
Always has been.
Always has been, yes. But it is a little bit difficult to confront for an aggro deck generally. Like it definitely here's another shot at you to say, oh, this is another good mid-range look at deck. Because, well, yeah, the rest of the problems are fairly easy to confront. Unsparkling Cider is maybe the one exception.
But see, on Sparkling Cider is like only one power less than Family Feud.
Hmm.
And it also requires specifically for not orange,
Hmm.
which I think is harder than a lot of multicolor friends.
Yeah, with all the
Maybe.
multicolor friends, not that big of a deal. The only real thing is that you can't use your main for it.
Yeah. Interesting to see Makeover and Rushed Makeover like side to side.
Hmm, that's true. 3 of both as well. Bugle is not willing to. Well, I mean, I guess in a deck without troublemakers and everything, yeah, he is cognizant of the fact that train traditions might go away before he has a chance to establish his white.
Yeah, but you have Barrel in Adventure.
It's true.
Is like I guess Makeover has a much higher flip.
That is the main difference. Well, and it is an event, which matters for Sweetie
Oh
Belle.
no, no! Another thing is his problem. Oh, not only says opponents, but I guess maybe with all like handy stuff and things like that, you don't really want to exhaust your resources. Because Barrel needs to exhaust
It's true.
before it goes away.
It's true. That's a legitimate point. The fact that Barrel exhausts before it goes away. That feels like it has a chance for some real synergies with orange stuff in the new world.
Yeah.
Be one of those things people miss. Bunch of people probably.
Okay, it's a repeatable exhaust,
Yeah.
resource exhaustal because it only costs 1 AT to play the barrel again.
Hmm.
Oh, a lot of white and orange so far, or at least that's how it feels to me.
White. Right. Orange was in the thorax deck. Yeah, I guess so.
And white was an Animoy's deck.
It's true. Yes.
I guess we've seen the equal amount of pink.
Yeah. And I think as we move now into the top 4, that'll change. So the 4th place deck belongs to Roman, player who we haven't seen in much of these tournament reviews, but she certainly made a mark for herself in the
Mm-hmm.
game in general, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more of her as we move on into this year. This is it's Reanimator, but also with some interesting additions.
I think
In
I played against this deck. Oh, maybe it wasn't this one. I can't remember now,
Fair
but I
enough,
think it was this one.
yeah. Um, the unusual additions in Reanimator, well, Treading Water is kind of a big one. Seems like a bit out of place in a deck with a lot of, well, you want to say a lot of stuff with printed power 2 or less, and then you look and say, well, actually, there's a lot of stuff with printed power 2 or less in here, frankly.
Yeah,
Between
there isn't as much big stuff though.
hmm, notably, Rarity Pony Pirate doesn't really count because you retire her after confront, so you don't really care about her staying at the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of them, particular Smolder, is pretty good. Well, granted, if you sticker at the problem, you're not going to be getting your Traveler counters, but you will be getting the Diligent counters.
Yeah.
And
Ah, Mystery Mare. I know Roman likes this card.
oh, do you?
Because like she said that it was really good because it's a one cost Frighten or Unfrighten, which I mean I agree.
That's
Mystery Mare is a really really good card. We just don't see as much blue orange around. Otherwise, we would see this card more often. I think.
it is true.
Yeah, I think I played against I don't know something very similar to this, but I remember it had not Harsh Judge, but Sans instead.
Hmm. Okay. Both cards that accomplish a
Yeah,
similar idea. Yes, and Student 6 is the main. We have... Actually, there's no rushed makeover, so we can't do the usual Reanimator thing to get Orchard Blossom into play, but we are running Train Tradition, so that doesn't matter.
yeah, you do have you do have your starting colors.
Yeah. So yeah, it's actually easier, as so many things are in Adventure. And as usual, it's easy to flip over. Yeah, I saw, I believe, on the Reddit post, kind of accompanying this tournament, it was Living Silver pointed out that this deck kind of seems like a study in contrasts, uh, having the Reanimator stuff, but also this other stuff that you wouldn't think would go together, especially given how successful the core Reanimator concept has been. And yet, Roman definitely, what was she? 3-1. So clearly something here is working.
Yeah. Oh, I remember plus ones actually being really, really annoying when I played against this deck.
Really? I mean, it makes sense. It's just another copy of Redeeming Qualities, basically.
Yeah. Thankfully, I had my purple flurry hearts, so
Hmm.
basically we had 3 turns in a row or something like that where Roman plays plus one. I play flurry heart and banish it. Then the next turn, Roman plays another plus one, and I portal flurry heart. And then Roman plays another plus one, and I portal flurry heart again.
Seems good.
So yeah, they were really annoying. I blew through a lot of like portal effects to get rid of all of that, but it was funny.
Also, Mistbane's Flower, which is a card you don't see very often. Uh, exchange control of resources. I mean, you would want to give away your plus one, I guess. That's. Oh wait, no. It's exchange control of this card and opposing resource. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah, they get the flower.
Yes. And well, yeah. Aside from well, yeah. Actually, you have no targets for them really to switch back with. Well, sorry, no. I am being really stupid.
They can take back
They
their
can take back
resources.
the card that you just stole from them. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but they can't do so immediately because it exhausts.
Yeah.
Next deck.
Next, sure thing. Okay. Smithers. The uh wait a second, that apologies, that deck isn't fitting very well on the screen there. Give me a moment.
Ah, yes, Aloe, the colorless card.
Okay, there we go. Apologies about that. Yes. So there was some talk in this tournament about both this and Pancake's deck at number 2 for the ability to, when you score your last point with GG, you just say and GG for a good game.
With who?
The Griffin, the 2 cost 3 power one, GG.
Where? Oh, there she is. Yeah. Did
Yeah, I don't know if Smithers actually managed to do
any
that.
of you do that?
I
Yeah.
know I know Pancake managed to do it a couple times. Yeah. Uh, Not sure if Smithers did, but on the serious note, yeah, I played against Smithers a couple times, and it's a really good card because it's impactful when it enters play, and even when you remove it, it's just like, well, shoot, now it's just in the discard pile, and it's going to be a point later. Especially here, where scoring win a face up by 5 or more. Well, Blue Adventure was always very good at that because it wanted to score with Night Glider, which this deck has 3 of anyway.
Yeah. Pancake tells us that Smithers did that by winning with a point from discard pile, and Pancake did it by playing with Hasty.
Right. In this particular deck, Smithers isn't even just relying on Aloe being having no color to say this is mono blue, because there's a sanctuary construction in here too. Good old Yellow Dilemma.
Oh yeah, do you play that with from Rainbow Dash
Uh,
or not? Right?
from
Is it?
yeah, from Fierce Loyalty. I think that's the only way to
Yeah.
get it into play.
Are they afraid that much of troublemakers? Well, I guess Blue doesn't really have much to come with them.
I mean, well, yeah, this deck does have between them all 3, what is that, 8 dilemmas, which is a lot. Um, but given that Fierce Loyalty searches up a dilemma, she turns into a 1 card dismiss a troublemaker and put a dilemma into play with Sanctuary
Yeah.
Construction. It's one of the better ones to find. In fact, it's, well, Boxball Championship for the point sometimes.
Eh,
Otherwise,
I can see myself looking for T-Rex Reign of Terror as well.
yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Not stuck together, notably, because you don't play it, you only put it into play.
Yeah, that was fixed.
Utopia. Why not Lotus nowadays? Which Lotus are you referring to? Lotus Blossom. Yeah.
It's the colorless, the other one, I think, right?
The new one.
Yeah,
Need to
but
remember again what that card does.
it's an entry card for 2 cost. It's like Makeover, but on a friend.
Oh, interesting.
What one do you think everyone uses? What did I say about everyone using something?
Regardless, Luna is always and has always been super good.
Yeah, yeah, and we have more and more hasty stuff in newer sets. So
It's true. It keeps getting better. In particular in blue and pink, which, well, we'll see when we get to the top of the list here. Yeah, Smithers was my second round opponent, and he pretty much just breezed past. I didn't have a great draw, but yeah, there's not much. Well, certainly not much that Strawberry can do against this deck. What with all these other ways of dealing with troublemakers.
yeah, so many dilemmas. We need the mimics back.
I mean, this deck doesn't even, with 3 copies of Fierce Loyalty, you don't even necessarily care that much about mimics.
Okay, it needs something like mimics, but not in in such way that stops fierce loyalty.
Hmm.
Like whenever where their dilemma enters play, they must pay free or dismiss that dilemma or retire. You know, like Groger's Lair but for
Right.
dilemmas.
I mean, that's close to Monumental Evil, basically.
Yeah, but that's orange, right? I want
It's
it in
true.
purple.
You want it in. Oh, purple. Oh,
Because I play purple.
I guess. How would you
But
design
yeah,
it?
I want it on a troublemaker. Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure how you would design that in a way that makes it purplish in its effect.
If you want to make it, you can make it blue purple.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Oh, I guess it will have to be orange purple since it's an orange thing apparently.
Hmm. Anyway, Smithers was the progenitor of adventure format, and still doing well within it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of do agree with Utopia there. You give control back mimics, and aggro wants Meadowbrook again, and we're back to square one.
Hey, we've had time when there was no Meadowbrook, but there were mimics, and it was good. Everyone was happy. Everyone.
I was also happy. I'll admit, it's true.
See, everyone was happy.
Alrighty,
Next deck.
next deck. Our number 2.
Oh, I don't have to look. It's a farming deck.
Oh, you have that much disrespect. Pancakes here in the chat.
What? Am I wrong?
I mean, yes, it is a far. I think there are some
Okay, I
distinctions
opened the
here.
deck, and there's like epic, 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 epic.
Yes, but look at those
There
friends.
is,
There are
there is, there is 15 epic troublemakers in this deck. No, like it's a good third of the deck.
15 friends in this deck.
So what?
That's unusual for a farming deck.
No, it's not. Not for blue.
I guess. Well, even for blue, that many is a little bit much.
Okay, let's see. Okay, if you want to push me on the friends, let's look at the friends, shall we? Daybreaker, Prince Rutherford, which says when you win a troublemaker face-off, a Thunder Lane, plushie deck. Like, no way you're convincing me that this is not a farming deck.
I'm not trying to convince you this is not a farming deck. I'm just saying this is a little bit unusual for a farming deck.
I don't know. Looks like a farming deck to me.
I mean, yes, I agree that I have a hard time believing there will be any changes in this list. for a while. A lot of these cards are just kind of no-brainers that go in farm.
I mean, there's some new stuff in here, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still totally farming deck.
And yeah, Prince Rutherford, we all knew was a farming card as soon as we saw it. Same with Rainbow
Yeah.
Laser. Same with, well, Wannavet maybe less so, but
GG is the interesting one, I think.
GG is potentially interesting, yes. But yeah, it's kind of all these cards are. You look at them and like, yeah, well, yeah, that goes in a farming deck. Sure thing, no problem. Yeah. Pancake notes in the chat that Wannavet and Grogar's Lair might be swapped out, and those are fair points. Yes. I mean, Wannavet is just zero cost score a point, pretty much. Which, not nothing, clearly. It kind of actually begs the question, and I guess he's the scholar to talk about something like this. Like, in your average farm game, would having scored one, maybe two extra points over the course of the game win you games that you would have lost? That's what Wannavet's basically saying. Like, the first 4, 5, 6 turns of the game are going to have gone the same, except that I also scored maybe 2 extra points. Right?
Well, no, because that's still a card in your hand. Like, it might have been a 3-point troublemaker.
I mean, that's fair,
I
I
think
guess.
that's the main thing here. By playing on a bet, you're giving up on a card advantage, which might have been some other, perhaps better card than just a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Pancake said sometimes you need cards that impact the board.
Tis true. Tis true. Especially as, well, yeah. Frankly, and I think this is, I might have said this before, but this is it's a really great way that farm has evolved over the course of the game, especially in Adventure and Core, that now it needs to have more stuff that cares about the board state, because there are so few villains compared to the number of epics around. Like, time used to be, back in Harmony, that farm didn't have to care about interaction because all the epics were villains, and that was your disruption. But nowadays, that the points you score from defeating epics are decoupled from your control, you have to actually put in control cards, or disruption cards at least, as well. And that creates some interesting deck building choices.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think that's because of the lack of villains. Like, Adventure does have a lot of villains anyway. You have Trixie, which is not like there are options,
Mm-hmm.
but we have a lot of really good epics with like really good effects that are not villains,
Mm-hmm.
which is perhaps what it is. It's not the lack of villains; it's the fact that there are non-villain cards that are good in the
Right,
Steel epics.
right. I suppose yeah, that's more of the case in Core, where there are much less villains.
Yeah, in Core definitely.
And it's true also, Pancake points out, the existence of dilemmas is a big switch up as well.
Let's get rid of dilemmas. Just ban all of them. I'll be happy. And Pancake will be happy. That makes two of us.
This time I'm not going to agree with you. Dilemmas are too interesting of a design space that definitely has not been fully explored yet. We still need to print a purple dilemma that's actually good.
Oh, you know
Or
that
at least,
effect I talked about earlier? Put that on a dilemma, on the purple one.
hmm.
I am the only dilemma here.
That's not half bad. That's kind of interesting. Maybe. Anyway, yeah, we managed to fill time talking about this farming deck. Do you want to move on?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Pancake. We're not saying that your decks are boring, just that farm is
Yeah,
farm.
like you accused me of something earlier, and you close off with this.
Anyway, number 1, the tournament's only 4-0 finisher, is Josh Stewick, or Eminently Sensible, playing blue-pink. The evolution... I was going to say the evolution of Hot Wings. I'm actually not so sure anymore. I mean, yes, we have Angel Wings, but we have no Spitfire. More of a mild Wings, I suppose.
Pink wings, because there's so many Pinkie Pies. All of the pink friends are Pinkie Pies, except 3 of them.
Just... Oh, yeah. Discord Angel Wings and Gallus and Silverstream.
Yeah. Which is important because you have the hasty joyous sea pony, which can transform all of those Pinkie Pies.
Mm-hmm. Like, actually, looking at it, I was going to... Well, okay. We made the talk about Hasty Friends when we were talking about Smithers' deck. How many is in here? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 with Gallus and Silverstream, which, I mean, they're always hasty. But it's only the question of if they cost 0 when you play them.
Yeah.
Which they will most of the time, I dare say.
And there aren't that many ways to frighten or dismiss a friend in this deck, but you'll probably just not play Gallus or Silverstream unless they cost 0, so...
It's a fair point. Like, yeah. Even Stop Fighting's Griffin effect. Well, guess what? Gallus and Silverstream are the only Griffins. So you're not going to get that ability firing.
It's really good against Bunyip, though.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's... I remember. Yeah, that gets brought up. It's not... You don't have to do the frightening, just if an opposing friend was frightened.
Yeah. It has to be, like, in the same turn. It's not like a reaction or anything. So they can even do a double face-off and then you play Gallus and Silverstream. Like, it's really good.
Mm-hmm. And that 0 cost hasty eccentric 1 as well. It's only eccentric 1, but nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ability to muck up your opponent's plans, or just be a 4-power body in a face-off.
Yeah. But I think 0 cost hasty is what makes it, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The rest of the things are just bonuses. You know what? I spot something interesting, which is definitely puts this deck away from the regular training tradition. Oh, regular Hot Wings is lack of training traditions.
Oh, shoot. Wow. Didn't
Like the
even look.
original,
I just
yeah,
assumed
the
it was there.
original, yeah, same. And I was like, wait, there's no training traditions here, which is what was like the original Hot Wings opener, right? You like play Angel Wings turn 2,
Mm-hmm.
and you play Rutherford or something for a turn 2 double face off. Yeah, I think it's turn 2.
Yeah, that you can do that.
But this deck can't do that. It solely relies on having a lot of Pinkie Pies.
Well, this deck can do turn 2 double face-offs, because you start Tarnished Reputation.
I mean, sure, but
Yeah.
but not in the same way
Yeah.
as before.
Yeah. Those Angel Wings are going to be coming down mid-game once you've played... actually, how many ways do you have to get into... Well, yeah. Your 3 Pinkie Pies.
So many.
Well, it's not so many, actually. It's only
It's
3...
9 cards.
It's just 3 entry friends.
9 of them.
Yes.
I
mean,
think that's a lot of them.
it's a lot for you. Maybe it's fairly standard, I think, for most players. Maybe slightly on the high
No,
side. People go with like 7 or 8 these days, but it's not off the deep end. Many,
so
many.
many, so many. I would run 5. Well, no, I wouldn't run 5 in this deck because there's all this entry gets bounced back by Joyous Sea Pony, which makes it really good.
Mhm.
So these 9 cards are not just entry cards. So that's why I think 9 is justified. Otherwise, 5.
Fair enough. But yeah, the point that you make is pretty valid. The lack of an adventure deck, not running train traditions at all, in a style of deck, blue pink, Luna, that used to run it all the time. That's a pretty serious
Yeah,
diversion.
like I think Trading Traditions was what enabled that deck. I think Angel
Mm,
Wings plus Trading Traditions was
yeah,
the thing that made it work, at least as well as it did. In the end, Pancake points out that all of the entry is also really powerful by itself because pink entries.
hmm it's all either gonna draw you a card or dismiss a friend later, or just be a 2 for 4.
Mm-hmm. And that's also why it's just so good with Joyous Sea Pony. It's not just transform; you get those effects back.
Hmm. Actually, interesting that. Well, as we all know, Bloon is the easiest friend and the easiest main in the world to flip, especially with Tarnished. Um, so yeah, you can get away without running any blue entry, which like even Luna decks generally did run at least a little blue entry because you need to play stuff to start, like Loyal Pony at least. Um, but no so here, which is a little
Yep,
surprising actually. That like Loyal Pony is still a really good card in decks like this.
not good enough.
Not good enough. Deck space is tight.
I like free of cardboard box.
I mean, of course, it
They
is.
knew Pancake is gonna be there.
It is the silver bullet card of adventure. If you're in pink, you gotta run at least a few of them. And yeah, you board them out in most matchups, but gotta have them.
What else do you board out?
Well, your dilemmas are less useful if you're not expecting control.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I'm not sure.
I think
Yes.
Tyrek is still a pretty useful dilemma, even
Oh, I mean, yeah, Tyrix
against
is good.
aggro.
Jest maybe less
I
so.
guess just yeah, I guess that's the 5 cards you sideboard: 3 boxes and 2 jests.
Mm-hmm. Discord, no, Discord's too good to get rid of him. Discord for those final questions.
Yep. If only Discord was named Pinkie Pie, then you could bounce him back.
That would be a little crazy.
Nice. The word you're looking for is nice.
Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised to find a transformed Discord card at some point in the future. Well,
I mean, he does it so often, might as well.
yeah, that's the thing, right? And it's an interesting usage for this card, using it purely as a because the card it has an enters play effect and it has a banish effect. So having a way to sort of fork it and only use the when you play this card effect, that's interesting gameplay. Take it that direction.
Yeah.
I think that'd be an interesting thing to have in the game. And as pointed out, it works for flavor. All right. So yeah, as mentioned, Josh went 4-0 with this, and was the only 4-0 from the tournament. So good for him. Starting 2022 off strong.
Yeah. A lot of different decks. Like all of the decks were very different from each other. Even the mono blue ones were. One was farm and the other one was aggro.
Mm-hmm. And the other one was aggro again.
Yeah, so nice variety. Not enough purple.
It's true. There was no purple, was there?
Yep.
Well, I mean, Roman had a little bit of
Roman,
it.
yeah.
But no purple mains. Well,
No purple cards, I think, right? Other than Roman.
yeah. No mains
Very
with
sad.
the purple symbol printed on them. Some of them could have been purple if you wanted, but
Doesn't count.
yeah, we're gonna have to fix that up. I think. I mean, I guess one of these days I just have to play purple aggro. Strawberry is so fun.
It's okay. One day I will come to a tournament with my good old Tempest purple, blue, and white.
You should. Yeah. I guess the tournaments are usually at not great times for you, eh?
Well, just recently I don't have enough time because, like, to build a deck, you need to actually spend time building it.
What? I didn't spend
And
time
just
building my deck.
how did what it took you 0 time to build your deck?
It took me maybe an hour and a half.
See, that's a lot of time.
Fair enough. That's not nothing. But yeah, sorry. Go
But I
ahead.
did build my for the new adventure. I did build my Tempest blue, purple earlier. That's what I played against Roman,
Ah, I see. Okay.
and still really fun deck. And I like Flurry Heart a lot, but I really really miss Mimics, and not Mimics. I also miss Old Money. That was really good. That's what we should bring back. Forget about Mimics. I want Old Money back.
A reprint of Old Money toned down a little bit. Maybe okay.
Yeah, just change Meticulous 2 to Meticulous 1.
Oh yeah, totally. That is totally fair card. All you gotta do is get rid of that.
It was so good to have a single card to answer for everything ever.
No problems with that.
Like now I have to think oh, but what if I play Troublemakers? Oh, but what if I play Resources? I need to have this, I need to have that. No, just single card, so good.
Yeah. Okay, I think that that'll do us for today. You want to add anything?
No tricks out of 10 tournament.
It's true. Actually, that is a fair thing to bring up. Because if I remember correctly, it was kind of the talk of the community, I guess, how much Trixie combo we were expecting to get at the tournament. There was none of it. Nobody brought a Trixie combo.
I think isn't it just Andrew and Living Silver who usually play it?
If I recall correctly, the people who actually did go to Vancouver, which is to say Grandpa's and Cheese,
Mm-hmm.
they actually brought physical Trixie combo lists and played with them against people. So if it had been a physical tournament, they would have played them there.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I don't know. Yeah, I was expecting at least a little bit of it, at least one person. But yeah. Guess not.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Yeah. Anyway. thank you all so very much for coming out and giving us a couple, 90 minutes or so of your time. Let me get the YouTube link. There it is. I need to get back into the routine. It's been it's been like a month since our last stream. But I expect this one to be up on YouTube this week. And there you'll find all the old games from the Invitational, as well as all our streams from last year to enjoy. Otherwise, well, it is time for us to start thinking about our anniversary stream for this year, actually.
Yeah.
That'll be, well, end of February is when it usually is. No
It'll
idea
probably
yet.
be a game or something.
A game or something. No idea yet what we're gonna do, but well, we'll have a discussion about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Look forward to that, and well, look forward to something else 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks once again. I have been Cursicorns,
That been Hifrock.
and we'll see you soon.
Bye.